Meanwhile, we're going to talk about a fun thing this half hour, an event actually coming up Wednesday in Battle Creek at Kellogg Arena, the Student Business Showcase, which is kind of fun. And here to talk about that from the Generation E Institute, Cheryl Peters is here, and Kristin Brennan. Good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming today. So let's start, and we did this last year too, but in case folks did not catch this, let's talk about what Generation E Institute is first, Cheryl.
Okay. The Generation E Institute is youth entrepreneurship education. We specialize in developing curricula and programs for schools, community organizations, etc., that want to deliver entrepreneurship education to young people. Okay. In the past, we've always been in the middle school and the high school. We have expanded. We'll tell you about that a little bit.
Okay.
But we're in, our home office is in Battle Creek, but we're in 50 counties about in Michigan and 6 states.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's expanding, and just to get young people thinking about the world of work, career pathways, encouraging them to seek post-secondary education and become employable. And develop those employability skills because they have so much communication in the curriculum that it helps them as far as being an innovative thinker and a value to an employer.
Boy, and so much of what you talked about there, Cheryl, is not necessarily directly aimed at entrepreneurs who are students, but everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's whether it's the entrepreneur. We know that the students who start their businesses through the program, they may or may not. 90% of them are going to get a job, but we would like to give them those skill sets so that they become a more valuable employee, and the fact that they value education.
This can be a bit of a challenge, I presume. I deal with it a little bit as a community college teacher because a number of my students are dual enrollment. That is to say, they're still in high school but taking advanced credit. And much of my time is spent acquainting them with some of the skills and expectations that they should have when they get to college, much less to say nothing of the workforce after that. Impressing upon them these kinds of things can be a little challenging, isn't it?
Well, I think that young people have whatever view that they have of education in the world of work. Yeah, I'm going to go do it, and it'll be down the road. And they don't really think that everybody that they meet along the way and the communication skills that they develop are all avenues for them for their future.
We remember what it was like to be in school. Oh, it's kind of a drag, and we're not realizing that the things we need are the things that are at our fingertips right now, the things that our teachers are talking about, which is interesting. And this helps underscore that. We'll talk more about this and the Student Business Showcase when we come back in just a minute on WBCK 840. Monday, here with us today, Cheryl Peters and Kristin Brennan. The Generation E Institute has their big Student Business Showcase. This is the 11th year you've done this, isn't it?
It is.
It's coming up on Wednesday at Kellogg Arena. So Cheryl has given us a notion for the broad strokes here about what Generation E Institute is about. So let's talk about one little nugget that she mentioned, and that was the notion that you've expanded this.
We have expanded this year. Last year, we were excited that Muskegon Community College invited us to pilot a 3rd and 4th grade week-long camp where we take those students through the same process that we do with the middle school and high school students and actually have them run a group business. With that, they had much success and raised over $400 to be donated to a local animal shelter.
Oh, wow.
So we took that program and we said, all right, how do we bring it back to Battle Creek and where could we pilot this? And so within the last couple of months, we have piloted 3 3rd and 4th grade programs at Willard Library, the Battle Creek Montessori Academy, and a one-day short program with Girls on the Run. And so over 70 kids have been reached, and these young entrepreneurs learn the same skill sets that we teach of not only starting the business, but going through a business plan, the communication skills, how to sell, all those soft skills that are preparing them to be successful in their future. So we are excited that those students have been invited to the showcase. Some, because of the age level, have not been able to make it, but they definitely will be showcasing a booth and demonstrating their skills as well.
This is interesting. It sounds like a little bit of a challenge. You know, you have your program set up and somebody comes along and says, okay, do that for the third grade. I mean, you know, well, wait a minute. You know, they're quite a ways from being entrepreneurs, or maybe they're not.
So we are actually in the process of not just taking it down to the third grade level, but actually in the research and development stage of doing a K through 5.
Oh, my goodness.
To really hone down on the skill sets of, like Cheryl was saying, about the world of work and teaching them and giving them the experiences. So those hands-on experiential experiences are so important and crucial at that age.
Mm-hmm. And one, I suppose, could say, you know, the younger they are, the more like sponges they are. We can start impressing them earlier. Mm-hmm. Seems to make sense. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. So the younger we go and giving them those experiences, putting those mentors and community members in the place to be positive role models, will just help influence these children, I think.
I presume the pilot project helped underscore that if there were any reservations about a third grader thinking about entrepreneurship, we got rid of those, right?
We did, and if we really think back, most children, by the time they're in kindergarten, if you ask them if they run a business, most have done a lemonade stand at some point.
That's a business.
That's a business. And so the feedback that we actually got from the 3rd and 4th grade program is, when can I start my own?
Oh, my goodness.
And so we're prepping them for that middle school of when they can do an independent business.
You know, Cheryl, you made a point that some of them are young enough that they might not go from this to, being in the next Donald Trump or something, owning multinational companies, but they might end up in the workforce. But that's part of the training, I suppose, is getting to that point where they are entrepreneurs that own their own business.
Well, for anybody, it's just like when we have a program in the CTE, in the technology centers and so forth. If they're in culinary arts or if they're in welding or anything like that, they're learning a skill. Mm-hmm. But if you drop in the entrepreneurship education, you drop in, well, what if it was your own business? You know, get all your training, work for someone, but what if it was your dream? And what if it was your own? But all the way through, they're getting those employability skills so that they can be a good, innovative employee while learning about it. They may or may not go on to be that entrepreneur. We have a lot of examples of young people who are now coming back as adults, young adults. And they're coming back to our community. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to us, and of course, as we look at economic development, we always look to how do we draw young people back to the community. And one of the things we're seeing is that these young people who had made those relationships, had the mentors, and developed those community connections, like Kristin was mentioning, they end up thinking, where do I want to live? Uh-huh. And are coming back to our community. And we're thrilled to see that because that's part of that pipeline.
Well, and that's an interesting point that, you know, as we, in theory, as we age, we become more mature and we discover where we came from is probably pretty good. Maybe we ought to go back there and figure out how to set roots there. And they have the connections already, so that's helpful. So the Student Business Showcase comes on Wednesday, and in a minute we'll talk about what that means and how this is set up. Somebody gets some, as one of my old bosses used to say, Charlie's in their sock from this. There's some cash that somebody's going to come away with. We'll talk about that, too, as the result of this big event that's coming on Wednesday in Battle Creek in just a minute. 8:20. WBCK, we're talking with Cheryl Peters and Kristin Brennan from the Generation E Institute in Battle Creek. It's their 11th annual Student Business Showcase that'll be happening at Kellogg Arena on Wednesday. So as you go by on Wednesday and you see all this activity, that's what's going on. How is this structured, and what would you like the result to be for the participants who are part of this?
It's a celebration. It is a celebration of student successes. And we start right out with they have to qualify to come. They have to have an approved business plan by their facilitator instructor,
Hmm.
and they have to have an operational business. It isn't simulation. They actually have to get right into it and experience the risks, the rewards, the financials, the preparation, everything that goes into starting a business.
So they have to have something already operating to be there.
Yes, they do.
Oh, wow.
It could be a service, it could be a product, whatever. It's their dream. It's whatever they have created. And so we invite them to come so that they can celebrate the successes. And a lot of programs and schools and so forth don't. They have their own. But this is the state one.
Okay. So most of these students between the ages of 8 and 26 have had a mentor of some sort through their school system or some educational connection that's helped them get to this point where they have a business that's operating.
Right. They've gone through the program and had at least a portion, whatever they've had, of the curriculum and have generated that. And again, it depends on the school setting or the community setting. There's special needs programs. I mean, they're everywhere.
All right. So take us to Wednesday then. Here they are. They converge on Kellogg Arena and they have their businesses. What happens as the day goes on?
So this year, the students are actually having a new opportunity. We have created the look to be similar to a pop-up business. So each of them will have their 8x8 booth space, but very much like pop-up style. And then from there, the students will go and listen to a keynote speaker from our community. And then we'll actually, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., sell their product. So that is the time that the public is able to come in, support these kids, celebrate these students and their hard work, and also buy their product or service business. And then after that, and they will go through what we call judging. And so we have over 35 volunteers that have donated their time to judge these student businesses, their presentation skills, their displays, and then the students will have opportunity to win cash prizes and awards.
Man, they're going through the mill.
They are. They are.
It's a test.
And another new aspect is to help prepare all of these students to calm those nerves. We have volunteer coaches that will go around and help them with last-minute preparations, questions,
Pep talks.
Just to really make sure they're at their best and ready for that judging.
This is pressure.
It is.
But they're used to it by now, I imagine, because if they've gotten a business off the ground, then there's already been pressure.
Mm-hmm.
What would be an example of a business that someone could expect to see on Wednesday?
So we have some businesses. We have a lot of food service businesses.
Okay.
We have some that are health related. So handmade hot packs that the students have made. We have a service business of a dog walking business from our local community and actually continues to run his business and hoping to expand his business. So that is one to expect. I mean, anything you can think of, these kids have dreamed it and put it to life.
Well, this is part of what entrepreneurship is about, recognizing a need and then trying to fulfill that. So what happens with the prizes now? Somebody's going to emerge from here with some recognition, aren't they?
Yes, they will. The awards, the total cash amount is $5,000 this year.
Oh.
And so the top prize that we have, I believe, is the $500 one. We surveyed the students in the past and said what did they like about the awards, and they like to have them not as much money in,
Uh-huh.
a huge amount, but have them dispersed. So we're giving out a lot of them,
Wow.
but they would rather have at least that recognition. I think that's totally what it's all about, is that
Hmm.
feeling of somebody is acknowledging what I've accomplished.
Right, right.
So the awards go from best financial plan to best business plan to the most creative, all the way through to our board of directors award.
Wow. All right. Well, this happens on Wednesday at Kellogg Arena, and as you said, Kristen, folks can come in and watch this happen, check out the products, and as you say, it's kind of an expo style, so folks will be able to walk up and talk to the entrepreneurs and buy their products. So anybody can just show up and walk in and check it out?
Between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., anybody from the public is able to walk in and support these students.
All right. Is there an admission fee of any kind?
No admission fee.
All right. Well, that's a good price then. So that is Kellogg Arena, Wednesday, 11 to 2, the 11th Annual Student Business Showcase, an event of the Generation E Institute in Battle Creek. Thanks to the both of you for reminding us about this, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Coming up,